Hi everyone, I'm Kiki, and this channel is Kiki Learns Japanese. And if you follow my videos, we can learn together. In 5 months, I'll be visiting Japan. I have absolutely no Japanese language knowledge, and I've just started my private Japanese lessons. I'll be sharing one or more videos weekly with vocab, hiragana, and my homework from my native speaking private Japanese tutor. My goals are to be able to order food, shop and make purchases, ask for directions, and have light conversations. Today we're going to be learning the first 5 hiragana symbols. Now, as I'm trying to learn, I know I will misspeak or mispronounce words, and that's where you come in. If you have any advice or kind critiques, please leave a comment to help me and everyone that is watching and trying to learn with me. I'll be sharing everything from my book, Mina no Nihongo, private lessons, and from my homework. To help support me on this journey, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to help others find my page and videos. The first hiragana symbol that we're going to learn is A. A. So the very first thing that I learned with hiragana is that the stroke pattern is very important. So for A, there is 3 different lines. You'll see line 1, line 2, and line 3 are all shown on the hiragana on the left side. So we're going to go ahead and draw this in the stroke pattern that we're seeing. Now, for my practice, my Japanese tutor gives me a grid like this to learn to draw on. So it looks like this is a little bit above halfway. So we're going to do the line across. Line 2 is almost straight down. And line 3 is starting about halfway up of the straight down line. It loops to the bottom, meets it, loops over, and back down. Now, when I'm practicing writing my hiragana, how I'm practicing is by saying the symbol, what it stands for as I write it, like this, ah, and going on to write it again. And once I complete it, to help commit that to memory, again, we're going to say ah. Now that one wasn't as great, but that's what we're doing is learning. So 1, 2, 3, and then it stops. Ah. Again. 2, 3, ah. And I have to get out of saying it in my head, so I will always refer to them as the sound they make, not the English A. It's ah. So now without any guidelines, we're going to try to make the symbol ah again. I think I actually might have done better without guidelines there. To the side, down, up, to the side, down, and trying to get that circle to meet back up with both of those lines. Ah, again, I think my loop should probably be a little bigger, so let's try that this time. Big loop, ah. 1, 2, 3. Now, admittedly, this is obviously much easier on pen and paper. I hope that if you're watching with me here that you are following through and writing this with pen and paper. This one right here would be the one I'd be following because this is obviously that computer generated symbol here. So again, remembering the stroke pattern, 1 across, 2 down, and then 3 does the loop and it stops. So it does not loop again, just the single loop and then down. So that is the hiragana symbol ah. Our second hiragana symbol that we are going to be learning is I. I. So this hiragana is the perfect example of why we can't say that's the symbol for I in our head, because we need to start seeing these symbols as the sound that they make, or we're going to confuse ourselves saying the I is the E. So this hiragana is written in 2 strokes. The first one is the stroke down and it curves slightly up. And then the second one is a shorter line and that curves slightly back towards that first line. So let's go ahead and write this symbol in our practice lines here. So we've got one that comes down, fish hooks up, and then the other hash mark that comes towards it. E, E. Again, as you write them down, take your time, but practice saying, at least I do, the sound that that symbol makes. So that is hiragana E. Again, that is hiragana E. So without our guidelines here, we're going to go ahead and write our symbol E. I think that matches pretty good there. Again, E. Line 1, line 2, E. Line 1, line 2, E. Line 1, line 2, E. And our last one, that is the hiragana symbol E. The next hiragana that we're going to learn is U. U. So again, this hiragana is going to have the two different stroke marks. So we have line 1 on the top, and line 2 starts on the left and curves down. U. So with your pen and paper, be writing U. And we can see that line 1 is a little bit shorter, it looks like, than line 2. Line 2 is that big curve. U. Line 1. Line 2. U. Line 1. Line 2. U. Line 1. And line 2. U. So again here, now I'm curious because I know that there's a bunch of different fonts, obviously, just like, you know, with Romaji or English letters, there's a bunch of different fonts. So this line here on number 1, for those who have been writing it for a while, should it be more angled down like this, or is it straight across? So again, is it more like this and then the last oop, or is it just like a little hash mark and around? Please help me to understand. I know that either way will probably be understood, but it does look like it might be a little bit of an angle there, and that is the hiragana U. Our next hiragana is E. E. So when writing E, there is 2 lines. So for line 1, it's that same kind of stroke mark across the top. And then it comes down sharp for line 2, kind of like the number 7, back up and out. So to me, it looks kind of like a 7 and an H, a really curvy H put together. So down, E. 1 and 2, E. E. Oop, that one got sloppy. I need to slow down. 1, 2, E. 1, 2, E. So my question is, if you've been studying Japanese for a while, and you are familiar with at least seeing, or if you've been writing hiragana for a while, would you recognize this as a hiragana E? Even though it's a little sloppy, is it enough to get by to recognize this, to match the picture beside to be E? Something crazy happened with that one. I don't know what happened there. So down, curve back, up, eh. Let's try to finish strong on this one here. So the line should be a little bit longer. Harsh down line, back up, eh. The final hiragana that I learned in my first Japanese lesson is o, o. The first thing I thought when I saw the hiragana o was, isn't that a? They're very similar. So for me, I remember that it has this tick line next to it, this additional number 3 line. And that's how I had to memorize that a and o were different, very similar though. So for o, we have 3 lines. The first line is across and the second line comes down, but it doesn't stop like a. It continues that loop and loop around, and then line 3 comes down to the right side, kind of where the line 1 comes out. So line 1, line 2, but then continue without letting up your pen, and line 3 is just a little tick mark there, and that is the hiragana o, o. 1, 2, and 3, o. 1, 2, 3, o, and small loop. Now I notice that the line keeps kind of coming up a little bit, so I'm trying to do that, and that is the hiragana o. Now one thing that I kind of got my hand slapped for in my first lesson was that I have a tendency to do this. I'll just keep going with the line. I don't know what I'm doing, or if the line goes down, I'm just going down far. Don't do this. There's some letters that just have such small differences in them. I think we'd call them letters. And so just the way that it ends, I've noticed, was very important. Oh, here now I see that I've left off line 3 of these hiragana. So don't do like me. Sometimes I have to look back and refer back to that photo again to remember. We've got 3 lines here. 1, 2, and then line 3 is just that small tick line. Hiragana o, line 2, and don't forget line 3, o, line 1, 2, and 3. I don't think that one looked half bad. Line 1, 2, and 3. And that is our final hiragana o. So that is the first 5 hiragana that I learned in my first private Japanese lesson. Now you're joining me after I've had my first 3 private Japanese lessons. So the first 2-3 videos are going to really be a recap of what I did learn in those lessons. And then after that, you're going to be learning with me as I go through the Mina no Nihongo book. I read through the vocab and the homework that my native speaking Japanese tutor gives me. So if there's anything that you want to see, any comments that you have on me practicing in this style, or anything that you want to learn that you're really curious about me asking my private Japanese tutor about, let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for studying with me. Catch me on the next video.